Okay, y'all, we're gonna be, this is part 4 of this little book series. Make sure you go check the other parts. And I read something in this book yesterday that literally, like, I had an epiphany on why my mother, subjected me to conversion therapy and tried everything in her power to beat the gay out of me with her religion. Trigger warning for this next part if you have religious trauma, because it gets pretty rough. You've been warned. Sometimes these parents use religious principles to promote self-sacrifice, making their children feel guilty for wanting anything for themselves. In this way, religious ideas, I don't agree with her on this, that should be spiritually nourishing. I think religion should be abolished because it hurts people. That's just my opinion. Are instead used to keep idealistic children focused on taking care of others. And then it goes on to say, unfortunately, emotionally immature parents are so self-focused that they don't notice when their child is getting overwhelmed or trying too hard. They're more likely to take advantage of a child's sensitive, caring nature rather than protecting them from overusing it. And I can relate to this in a way because when I was probably about 14, my mother had to get off some meds and it was bad, and I was in the role of caretaker, and even to this day, she pretends I did nothing and, wasn't up at night with her trying to make her feel better at 14. She took advantage of me like that and put me in the role of being the parent when I should not have even been near anything like that at the time. Being such a young teenager. And you know what her excuse was? Oh, well, I was taking care of my own kids at 14, so might as well get you trained. As if she was expecting me to be exactly like her, a carbon copy, and go do what she did at 14. She's a helicopter mom and does not allow any of her children to do anything, so that's pretty interesting considering, she never let us out of the house, ever. I just find that ironic, I'm sorry. Anywho, and it says in this book that basically parents who are emotionally mature use religion as a form of abuse. It's not like I've been saying that for almost 4 years. Now we're going to deviate a little bit. This series has pissed off my mother. And am I sorry about it? No. Am I, living in a glass house? Because I'm not saying, but this person claiming to be my mother said that you shouldn't judge because you live in a glass house. And it's like, that's nice, but at least I still have window panes instead of holes. And you know what? I brought this whole book up because I wanted to better myself, and I'm not ashamed of that. And I encourage my adult siblings to read this book also, because she's playing you hard. Every manipulation tactic she has ever used, especially calling herself the Oracle and saying that we can't think without her, is in this book. And yeah, so I highly recommend that, everybody who has emotionally immature parents read this book. So next we're going to go into identifying coping styles. They do externalizers and internalizers. You can be a mix between both. I only have one checked for external, which I do get very mad easily, so I check that off. But I'm mostly an internalizer because my needs were neglected because I was one of the oldest siblings and I needed to take care of myself. If you have any of these traits, you are an internalizer, and I'm sorry that your needs were not met. Worrying about the future. Thinking solutions should start on the inside. Being thoughtful and empathetic. What can I do to make things better? Thinking about what could happen. Overestimating difficulties. Trying to figure out what's going on. Looking for their role in causing a problem. What's my part in this? Engaging in self-reflection and taking responsibility. figuring out problems independently and working on them, dealing with the reality and being willing to change. And the psychological style for this is thinking before acting, believing emotions can be managed, feeling guilt easily, finding the inner psychological world fascinating. And the relationship style is thinking about what others need first, considering changing self to improve the situation, requesting dialogue about a problem, wanting to help others understand why there's a problem. Unfortunately, I am very much an internalizer because I have every single one checked off. So, yikes. And it goes on to say that, if you have one extreme or the other, you should really work on trying to find a balance. And I highly encourage that, because you know what they say about low maintenance children? They become high maintenance adults. And what that means is when you are neglected as a child, you are bound to have things like PTSD, mental health issues, anxiety, stuff like that. So remember to take care of yourself, and remember, it's not all your fault. Your parents were shitty.